Good morning, everybody. You've reached the Global Chamber Denver and Salt Lake and kind of a Rocky Mountain to the Wasatch Front conversation to catch up on what's going on globally. I'm Doug Brunke. I'm founder and CEO of Global Chamber. We're kind of heads down right now for a lot of reasons. One is certainly on the global side of things around the world. As we know, things are crazy. In the sense of still very busy, people resourcing all sorts of products around the world, the immigration challenges, we've got war fronts on multiple sides, we've just got just a lot of unusual, interesting things, some not so interesting or good in the United States. On the international side, there's a lot going on. From a business standpoint, though, things are really still quite hot and we've got people very interested in and involved with growing their business internationally. The one great thing about international business right now is a reminder that having a portfolio of businesses in different markets, in different market segments, in different regions is so critical, because if something shuts off in one area, you've got something to fall back on. And that's playing very well for a lot of people who are in different countries. I'd like to mention that one of the other reasons why we are busy is that because of our growth, we've been scaling and putting systems in place. And so we're by July 1st having a new operating system put in at Global Chamber. And so that's keeping us busy, and undoubtedly there'll be some additional midnight oil burned going forward. I'd like to start with Ricardo Gambetta for at least two reasons, maybe three. Number one is he's been involved with Global Chamber for so long and been such a great supporter. We just love that aspect. Well beyond that, and so important, is you are a leader in the Denver Aurora community on international. You've got the daily activities around supporting immigrants and making sure that the community is well supported from an international and a personal standpoint. And then very recently with Global Fest, you've been on this annual planning process to be able to put this on and then succeed again this year with the city of Aurora. So congratulations on what you've been able to do. What would you like to cover? If you could give us an update on what's going on, how did Global Fest go this year? What was your expectation? How did it turn out? And then if you could give us an update on just your daily activities, and particularly with immigration, considering what's going on, if you wouldn't mind letting us know more there. And then just anything else you'd like to share. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your service to both the regional community and to the global community. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Thanks again for the invitation. I promise I will be brief. I know you have a busy agenda for today. So first of all, I want to apologize because I had been missing in action for the last couple months. We were so busy working on different projects here in the city. So, for example, we have been in the middle of the national immigration debate. Aurora has been, on the news, very frequently. So that is one issue. But also, in addition to that, we continue working on different important programs and projects here in the city. So just a couple updates. In terms of Global Fest, Global Fest is the most important international event in the city. I don't know you're aware, but we're the most diverse city in the whole state of Colorado. We have a great representation from the international community. We value that, and that is why we're the only city actually in Colorado who have a citywide email integration plan. And international trade, promotion of small business are at the top of our agenda. So it's not just focused on access to social services and programs, but more important, is about economics. We try to create economic opportunities for everyone across the city. Of course, our international community play a very important role. They are small business owners and they are part of our important labor force. So we try to invest in them and try to develop the next generation of workers in our city. So Global Fest once a year is the most important international event sponsored by the city. We get great support from the private sector, from corporations. They understand these are new markets, and so we work together to try to celebrate the diversity in the city, celebrate the unity in our city. I know we have some issues in our city, but at the same time, I think we need to focus in what everybody, value and appreciate, that is diversity and inclusion here in Aurora, Colorado. So glad to report that we have over 10,000 people during the day. It was an amazing experience. We have two different stages. We have a lot of vendors, different companies, different business were participants here this year. And we have a special concert focused on Selena. And also we have performers from Asia, Africa, Latin America, Europe, Australia, you name it. So it was an excellent event. Also, every year we organize a reception to kick off these celebrations the Friday prior to the event. And every year we focus on one different country. This time was Nepal. We were honored to have the ambassador of Nepal in Washington, who spent 40 hours in our city, and he played a very important role during this celebration. So the event was a total success, and we were worried about the number of attendees because with the whole political situation that we're living right now. But glad to report that everything went very well. A couple other updates on the international front. We have been busy trying to promote the city as a destination for business. We have great success in the last few months. Our office, sent a representative to join the lieutenant governor from Colorado on her official visit to South Korea a couple of months ago. In addition to that, our mayor went to Taiwan 2 weeks ago. He was invited to participate in different celebrations there in Taiwan. We try to enhance, expand, commercial business opportunities between our city and other cities around the world. Also, in addition to that, I just went to Chihuahua, Mexico a week ago. I led a delegation of public safety officials on the international public safety training mission. We have a very unique relationship with Chihuahua. Most of the Mexicans in our state are actually from the state of Chihuahua, so we have a very unique, special relationship with the state of Chihuahua here in Aurora. In addition to that, happy to report that our Aurora Sister Cities program have new leadership in place. We have a new director, a new CEO, and he's going to take over in the next couple of days. So we're looking forward to expand our efforts in collaboration with our sister cities. Also tomorrow, Friday, we're going to host the ambassador from Marshall Islands coming to the city on an official visit. We have a growing community of people from the Marshall Islands, and we are very happy to host the ambassador for a day here in the city. He's going to meet with business leaders and community representatives as well. So, and finally, the last update is we continue with our lobbying efforts, not just in Washington, but also in South Korea. We try to secure the opening of the consulate of South Korea here in the city. So we were able to get support from the governor, the whole Aurora and Colorado congressional delegation. They are in support of this idea, of this project. And actually, in the past few years, we have some success. We were able to open the Consulate General of Salvador in Aurora in 2018, and then the Consulate General of Honduras in Aurora in 2024. So our next target Our next goal, of course, is trying to secure the opening of the Consul of South Korea in our city. We have a great growing Korean community in our city, so we have been able to put together a local coalition of business leaders, civic leaders, Korean leaders who actually are working together with our office to try to secure this important consular office. It's not just about serving local Koreans, but also, especially, to try to enhance and expand business opportunities between our city, the state of Colorado, and South Korea. So those are some of my updates. Sorry if I took too much time.
Oh, that's just fine. Congratulations on all that progress. What I'll open up the floor for any questions that people have, but one question I do have first is how best to help? What are some of the things that we should be thinking about in order to support your highest priority programs?
Well, actually, now that we're done with Global Fest for this year, we have some extra time that I would love to, continue with the conversations with our local chapter to try to explore the possibility to organize some kind of international business seminar or workshop or social event, networking event in our city. We want to show the Global Chamber is still active in our state, in our city, in the whole Denver metro area. So that is something that perhaps we need to do and organize a side conversation in the next few weeks to talk more about that. Uh, we are always looking for opportunities to promote the city, and so we love to host international business delegations. There are several conversations about potential partnerships. So I would love to bring the Global Chamber, as a part of these conversations so we can work together on some important projects.
Do you have a particular focal point on the Korea side? Like, is there either a sister city or some other specific area there that you focus in on, or is it more general?
Well, actually, one of the best sister cities relationship that we have is with Sonam City, a very important city in South Korea. Actually, the former mayor of Sonam City now is the new president of South Korea. So we want to reconnect now with the president as a former mayor to try to explore some potential business opportunities on that arena. So we're so happy that the new president actually came to our city a couple times in the last 10 years. Actually, in the last 8 years, he was here twice. So we have a good relationship with him and his team. So I think that could be something that could work in our favor.
Okay. I is that near that's near Seoul, right? Where is Sanam?
Sonam, I think, is south of Seoul. It's an important city over there. I need to see the map, but
But
happy to send more
I
details.
let's see, because okay, yeah, I must be spelling it wrong. So the reason why I'm asking is we Global Chamber have in Korea we have 5 chapters:
Oh, great.
Daegu, Daejeon, Busan, and Gwangju. And so the Seoul one incorporates the kind of the Seoul metro area, and that captures a lot of the different sister cities.
I see.
Is it if it's up in that area, then it'll be really great to coordinate with Dr. Yun, who's our leader there. He is an ex-Cotra director. He's been on the board of directors of Cotra, and he's still involved with Cotra, but he's a commissioner for Incheon for a free enterprise zone there now, and he's also deeply connected. So if it makes sense, what we could do is maybe do an event in Aurora, get Dr. Yun involved on his side.
Okay.
He comes to the U.S. every year as
Okay.
Consumer Electronics Show. And so there may be something we can tie into Colorado companies headed to Vegas, headed to Korea, kind of pull it all together out of Aurora. So let's do some more brainstorming on that. And
Yeah. That would be great because I believe that we're putting together a very strong business case. Why should we Aurora as a destination for the next consular office? So we're happy to work with you guys on this.
Okay. Dr. Yun has the right connections to be able to help facilitate some of that. And so as long as we're okay with Incheon, he's not really Incheon, he's part of the free enterprise zone there by the airport. So it should work out okay, I think. So I'll circle back with you on that. Does anybody else have any questions for Ricardo or comments?
Doug, there's a message in the chat from Alyssa that would be of interest. And I just wanted to say last week we hosted the Council General from South Korea here as well. We started the direct flight last Thursday, and there was a luncheon with him on last Thursday with the Korean chamber here. So South Korea is doing a lot for this side, so that's a good opportunity to just let us know how we can, be a part of it as well.
Thank you.
Could you just say 30 seconds on what you do, Benita?
Oh, yes. Vanita Ross. I work at the Mill at Salt Lake Community College with the Global Business Center. So we work with international businesses here that are looking to work internationally. We do a 10-week training so that they get all the resources that they need to be able to start launching their companies abroad. And then we work with different partners that would help them with getting set up in different countries.
Really important work, and twice a year a cycling program getting exporters to be more capable. Thank you, Benita. And any other questions or thoughts?
Yeah, I just wanted to say hi, and I'm in Aurora as well. So if you're looking for a place to host this awesome meeting for your South Korea chamber, I'm happy to offer our services for that. That would be great.
Thank you, Lisa.
Have you guys worked together before?
Well, I know I've met Ricardo before. I think I was at a different hotel though. So probably a few years ago.
And also, I mean, several people from the city, they organize events, of course, at the Hyatt all the time. We have a great working relationship.
Super. Great.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Coordinate that and make it a special event. Thank you. If there's no other questions, Casey, would you like to add anything to that? I mean, you're deeply involved not only with Rob, but with the diplomatic side of things. Anything you'd like to either add to Ricardo or just kind of add on regarding some of the activities with the group?
Yeah, so hey, Ricardo, I'm the executive director of the Denver Council on Foreign Relations. I was actually going to send you a chat here in a second. I don't necessarily have anything on the South Korea side, though. If you're looking for partners, we would love to. We just hosted the Canadian Consul General last week or 2 weeks ago and had a really great discussion on U.S. Canadian relations, as well as kind of an interesting look at the diplomacy of a Canadian professional. But what I wanted to talk to you about is we have a panel coming up next month looking at migration and how how different countries respond to migration compared to how the United States is responding to migration. And I think that you'd be absolutely fantastic. So I was going to send you a message on the side to see if I could maybe get your email and see if you might be interested in that. So it's great to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Kathy. Thank you so much. I will put my contact information in the chat.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
How long have you been doing the good work, Ricardo?
Over 10 years.
Okay. Yeah. What is it about it that keeps you going?
Well, international relations and immigrant integration are my passion, actually. I love to travel as well. And we belong to so many different international networks, organizations, and groups. So I feel like, this is the right time, the right place to be, especially now.
Right. I remember the Chihuahua angle, and both the state and the city are members of Global Chamber, and we work with their economic development group. So just let's keep that in mind in terms of other activities that we might be involved. They're very involved with the semiconductor industry, and they have been involved with our semiconductor summit. The next one is February of 2025. It'll be the 5th annual one, and I would imagine that they'll be part of that. And so if there's some other angle to put Aurora on the map with the semiconductor industry, if that even makes sense.
That would be great. Actually, a year ago, I took Mayor Kaufman to Chihuahua. We led a small business delegation. And so we already have a good relationship, but always I appreciate any extra support, any other contact that you feel, we can use in our work here in the city. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I think we've got another question. Hello.
Hi. There's a few of us here from WorldDenver. I'm Lauren Osca, the Director of Development and Communications. And I just want to say hi, Ricardo. I think Ricardo knows us pretty well. But for those of you who don't, we bring in about 500 international visitors, rising leaders, and entrepreneurs, and elected officials from around the world every year, from all over the world. And we often send them to Ricardo to see what Aurora is doing on the municipal level, because you do such amazing work with your immigrant communities there. And Ricardo received our Outstanding Resource Award a few years ago. So it's fun to see your face here and hear all the good work you're doing. And I think my colleague Sarah is also on the call, and she's going to share a little bit more about what WorldDenver does in general, but we're kind of surprised and excited to now be introduced to the Global Chamber and hopefully become more of a familiar face, as you'll see us kind of all over the Denver metro area. We love working with Casey and DCFR. We do a lot of co-sponsored events as well, with authors, journalists, diplomats, speakers throughout the year. So if you've never heard of WorldDenver before, check us out, worlddenver.org. And I think Sarah's going to talk a little bit more about kind of our expertise in exchange and bringing folks from around the world to Denver. We like to say our tagline is, we bring Denver, the world to Denver, and love to contribute to all the things that make Denver and the surrounding metro area more of a global city and a global state. So exactly what you all are doing here as well. So it's nice to meet you and be here with you all. Thanks for inviting us in, Doug.
Our pleasure. When I'm the founder of Global Chamber, and at the time I was the founder, I was the head of what became Global Ties Arizona. At that time, it was the World Affairs Council. And so through the International Visitor Leadership Program, IVLP, which I think is what you guys are tied into, right? The State Department.
Yes, exactly. We are both a Global Ties and a World Affairs Council. There's about 40 of us around the country that do both. So we have both of those affiliations. So you know exactly what we do.
So I was the president of that organization. And then at the time I started Global Chamber, I had been on the board a number of years. I believe in what the organization stands for. I've personally been involved with the success stories and seen so many success stories that the IVLP does through the volunteer networks and the 92 or so different groups within the US. And so it's a very important part of the puzzle. It turned out at the time I also was on the board of ECFR, Phoenix Committee on Foreign Relations. And so what at the time I thought was the missing piece was there needs to be a parallel business organization that focused in on the business side of things, and that triangle of the International Visitor Leadership Group, the diplomatic part of what was PCFR and is part of DCFR, along with Global Chamber and the business side focus, that's a strong alliance and partnership. And so that's how we started, and look forward to finding ways to do that here in Denver, in the current state. We do that in Phoenix still with PCFR and Global Ties Arizona. What else would you like to share? Congratulations on your success. And you said over 400 visitors a year?
Actually about 500. We're,
Wow.
I think, one of the top 5 in the IVLP, among the IVLP organizations for how prolific, because we have an amazing airport and a surprisingly globally focused business community. And we also have so much of the unique resources when it comes to, conservation, mining, extraction, water conservation, et cetera, with, the School of Mines here, Rocky Mountain National Park. A lot of those resources really elevate us on that kind of in the global sphere, if you will, with that visitor program. And Sarah on the call is at home, and I think she'll chime in, but she does run all of those programs for us. Sarah, you're here. We see your face. Yeah. Don't let me steal your thunder. If you want to share more about exchanges and IVLP and the business, collaborating with the business side of things like Doug was alluding to.
Absolutely. And it's so good to see you guys. I've been on break. I'm actually on leave for a little over a week, recovering from a surgery. So it's nice to see my colleagues who I haven't seen for a little bit. So Doug, thank you so much for what you're doing. I mean, I am, before I joined the WorldDenver team 2 years ago, I was the founder of an international nonprofit for almost 20 years. And so I know what it takes to have that vision and bring it into reality. It's a lot of work to be a founder. So I certainly kudos to you, because it's really true that what you're bringing to the space is really essential. And I would say even more so than ever, because given the state of things in the world right now, I think the one thing that people can more often than not agree on is economy and the necessity of being able to work together economically, despite any kind of political affiliations or convictions. And so I definitely feel like, the last few years, we've recognized that we need to be diversifying our revenue streams, so that, in other words, depending on the U.S. Department of State for programs like the International Visitors Leadership Program, which thankfully is still intact, but one never knows. It's important for us to be able to diversify. So I am tasked with finding other streams of revenue for the organization outside of, or not exclusive to, the U.S. Department of State. So I am for sure looking a lot at economic development. I'm feeling like that is the one thing that we will all be able to unify around in the coming years. So I've been reaching out. So in addition to the IVLP program, we have other international exchange programs that I oversee, which include things like professional fellowships, also some youth programs. For example, in about 6 weeks, we're going to be having a group of 20 high school girls from Sub-Saharan Africa in Denver for 4 days through a program called Tech Girls. And they'll be staying with homestay host families. And then my job is to create job shadow opportunities for them to meet with women professionals in STEM fields. And then later this year, we're slated to have a group of about 20 high school students from Uganda to come to Denver in December for civic engagement and youth leadership development. So we really do a wide range of programming, but the common theme is always how we can identify the things that connect us and how we can strengthen those. So a lot of the opportunities that I've been looking into recently are looking at how we can basically leverage all of the connections that we have, the resources that we have in Colorado, in the areas that Lauren mentioned, and also, the academic resources like CU Boulder, Also some of the private sector resources. Aerospace is definitely one of the areas that I've been focusing on a lot recently. It seems like it's one area where funding will be more dependably continuing in the coming years. And Colorado is replete with a lot of resources in the aerospace sector. So I'm looking at those, and definitely, the vision that I have at this point, initially, obviously, the first line is just bringing revenue to WorldDenver. That's my priority. And doing that by bringing to bear all of our wonderful partners like Casey and others in the Denver metro area. And stronger together is probably more true than ever now. We really want to be able to collaborate. In fact, we met with Casey, gosh, I guess it's already a couple months ago. Just on that note, just saying, how can we work together more closely with partners who are like-minded, who have similar goals, so that we can be stronger as a kind of an alliance. So Ricardo, I haven't met you yet, but I sure look forward to getting to meet you in person. It sounds like what you're doing is really amazing. And I'd like to just start brainstorming some specific actionable ways in which we can work together to bring funding to this kind of international sector in Colorado and in the Denver metro area.
That's amazing. And I love the parallel. This feels very much like what happened 10 years ago when we were collaborating in those early days. And it was important then, and it's important now. Yeah. Because most people are not thinking about global. I would say one gift that, even though things are crazy, 10 years ago, I would wonder, why isn't anybody talking about global? That's a big problem. Well, guess what? Everybody's talking about it. Now, can we leverage it in a way that supports all of our groups in ways that are positive? So if you're open to it, definitely open to find ways to let's brainstorm some ideas to raise the water level.
Absolutely, raise the water level. And thanks to my colleague Liz at WorldDenver, who was the one who first brought to our attention about the Global Chamber. She put it in our group chat at work, like, does anybody know about this? And we're like, no, but it sounds interesting. And so then I did reached out to you, and just really glad to move forward with brainstorming and collaboration.
We'll definitely do. We have a board meeting next in July. It's the date's not set, so working with Ricardo and the rest of the board and just with you, we'll figure something out. That might be the forum that we do it, or we'll set up something else. Thank you very much for sharing. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts for Sarah and her team? Ricardo, first time, or did Ricardo have to drop off? Oh no, he's there. Ricardo, first time to meet Sarah, so that's
yes. Good to meet you, Ricardo.
Nice to meet you. I'm looking forward to continue working with your team.
Yes, likewise.
I just want to say, congrats on the great work, because we work with IVLP as well. We at the college, we host the IVLP through the Utah Global Diplomacy Group. They would bring them in and we would do some training with them as well, and as well as different groups that they would bring in over time. And looking at different stream, given what's happening now, that's a really great idea. A lot of people are privatizing different things that they used to do that used to depend on federal and state funds, because we're all in the brunt of it right now. So I think looking to do something collaboratively is a good idea. So Doug, that's something you need to look into and see how best we can harness all the resources and kind of do something together.
Just so that we can wrap up at the top of the hour, I'd like to continue to go around the room and get input from everybody. One person here that's been part of the Global Chamber Denver group for a long time, other than Ricardo, is Gary Curran. And Gary I don't know if you were a board chair at one point, but you certainly were involved with the board. The history of Denver chapter is quite long. It's fact, I think it was the 6th chapter out of 525 for Global Chamber. And there was a fellow who some of you may remember, Jeff Campos, who had started the Global Chamber Denver and had built it up quite nicely. We actually still have Jeff Campos in our world. He runs now the West Valley Chamber of Commerce in Phoenix. He's a collaborating organization with Global Chamber. So that's happened. And subsequently, we've never had someone who was an executive director for the chapter as strong as Jeff and as deeply connected as Jeff. And so that's certainly something that we're working on. We've kind of hasn't been a priority, but now it has been a priority in 2025. And that'll be a big topic for our next board meeting in July. So that's a little bit of the history. Gary, you've been part of that history. Thank you. You've subsequently your role in the last couple years. Do you have a moment just to introduce yourself? Are you?
Thank you very much, Doug. I really appreciate the forum here. You do an extraordinary job of bringing people together, and I just love the global camaraderie. I'm with Corporate Finance Associates Worldwide. We're a lower mid-market investment bank, and Doug reached out to me recently, asked me if I'd like to get re-involved, and I responded, hey, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity. And then right after that, I said that we just happened to have a deal. We work both sell side and buy side for clients, but we have someone, a colleague of ours in Europe has a business for sale. It's a manufacturing of specialty truck manufacturer, and they have about 72 million euro in revenue and about 4.4 million in EBITDA. So if anyone would have any buyers for that business that would be potential, I'd certainly like to discuss it with them. You can reach me at Gary Curran, Curran at cfaomaha.com. And I work with our Omaha office. I'm located here in Denver, but and my phone number, I'll put all this in the chat, but it's 720-496-1445. But thank you very much, Doug.
If you would send me that information again, if you haven't, please do. Just weirdly coincidental, a fellow joined Global Chamber today, and he wants to set up the Global Chamber Omaha chapter. We already have Nebraska covered with a fellow who runs it out of North Platte, but it looks like we're going to have an Omaha chapter, and maybe that might make sense to involve you with as well. Thank you for sharing that. And on the Europe side, in terms of a buyer for that, it could be someone in the US or it could be someone in Europe as well, right?
Correct.
Very good. Let's keep going around the room. And Barry Berman is a longtime member. He's also someone who teaches leadership. He's also very global. If you ever need some help with either global advice or cryptocurrency or
got me in that.
Or the topic that I think of Barry number one with is integrity, because I think the initial course that I took with Barry was about leadership related to integrity. And that's when I understood the value of not only integrity in the whole process, but Barry and his knowledge and his experience. He's been teaching businesses and cities, how to be better leaders. And you're just been doing a great job, Barry. And I really appreciate you so much for your long time collaboration and support. Is there anything you would like to share? Any response from what you've heard here today?
Well, it's the international part of it that I'm very much interested in. I like what WorldDenver's doing. I think the thing I can say most that something shifted for me recently. You know how my colleagues and I, we work together going into businesses, and now we're starting to look at how to bring AI in to have it be more efficient and more productive and cut costs and do all of that stuff inside organizations. But I realized that without having an extraordinary life, I don't know how much that's all worth its time and effort. So the context I've shifted to is, you know, solving business problems, solving issues, giving people a whole new view of how to look at business. You know, what are the elements and the fundamentals of being a leader that has leadership really grow and expand. And the context for that is having an extraordinary life. And I mean every aspect of it. I have an extraordinary life. Do I have all the circumstances I want? No, I don't have millions in the bank yet. I'm still working on that. Or this crypto thing keeps it. Chances are you and I have a choice to have an extraordinary life and make our lives impact everywhere. And you know, internationally, I'm concerned because I had a client in Iran that's really going through it. I mean, the Iranian people are extraordinary people. I'm not talking about the governments. The governments are the ones that cause all this mess. But I've been in communication with some of them, and it's been a real challenge just to stay afloat. You know, with 9 million people, you can't leave your city. You just can't do it. And so I'm very committed to everyone on this call having an extraordinary life beyond what you think extraordinary is, to the whole nother level of it. So you're welcome to have a conversation with me or not, and we can talk about integrity, a whole new way of looking at integrity. So that's my whole blurb here, Doug. I appreciate what everybody's doing here, and why I'm here is the same with everybody else, to make a difference.
Thanks for making a difference.
Hey.
Benita Ross is making a difference through the training programs that she does for exporters. Benita is based in Salt Lake City. Thank you for all that you do. What would you like to share today? Oh, are you there? Hi.
Yeah. No, great. No, I love the international aspect. I'm currently going through a leadership program in Salt Lake, and it's taken me through all the different tiers of building leadership and working with different groups in the community, which is really awesome. So I think there's a lot of resources. Once everybody pool their resources together, there's a lot that we can do just to make a difference. And I think, like Barry just said, was it a wonderful life? And it all depends on what you do, but I think we're all out there trying to help people, and that in itself is so much. It builds integrity, and it gives so much of a good feeling to know that you're doing something that's actually working and helping other people, not just yourself. So yes, I do the global program. I do host with Utah Global Diplomacy. We host a lot of the IVLP that comes through, whether it be a group from Mexico in the teaching, in education, or in leadership, business CEOs, the Women Leadership Program. That's one we've been hosting for the last 2 years, which is really good because we get to meet all these women, and they get to meet with business leaders in Utah as well. And then on the other side, they're doing a lot of things with building international businesses. So it's a really good program, and I'm happy to be here to help and to be a resource for all the businesses and different international programs.
Thanks for all the work that you do. And Salt Lake City was the 3rd chapter of Global Chamber. Of the 525, the thing that we do that's different is to be everywhere. And so the work that Ricardo is talking about and does with Chihuahua, with South Korea, I think you mentioned Taiwan as well. those are all places where we are, where we can help support on the ground on the other side of things. And so that's one of the really kind of unique things that Global Chamber is all about. And we hope to bring that more to Denver. Denver has been a strong chapter for us, but even those days, we didn't do too much internationally from the standpoint of connecting up with other chapters. And I think that's a great opportunity that we'll be talking about in our board meeting going forward. Regionally, though, we do have chapters all over the U.S. and the closer ones in Colorado, we have Denver and Northern Colorado, so one in Fort Collins. We have Billings in Montana. We've got up in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle and Portland. California, we have 4 chapters: Sacramento, the Bay Area, LA, and San Diego. Las Vegas is our Nevada chapter, and we have a one in Reno as well. And then in Arizona, we have both Phoenix and Tucson. Those were our first 2 chapters, and where our headquarters is in Phoenix at the Thunderbird School of Global Management. And then in Albuquerque, we have a chapter and 4 chapters in Texas, etc. So we have 65 chapters in the U.S. That comprises the part of the 525 for the U.S. side of things. Nepal was mentioned. I think we're at Global Fest, Ricardo, and Nepal. Kathmandu actually was our 5th chapter. So we have a long history there. So as you think about global and you're thinking about how can we make connections to some of these places around the world, invariably, we always have someone somewhere who can help in 195 countries. It is sad to see what's going on, but I think it puts, for us, all of us, the emphasis of how important it is that we build this village, that we build the connections to keep us together as a world. And we're doing it with trade and business, with exporting and investment. When people are investing, they're talking to each other and mediating and conversing. And when you're talking, it's harder to throw things at each other. You can get hurt yourself when you're doing it. So rather do trade. I don't know. I'd like to open up the floor for any final comments, but before I do, one of the people that's been brought on to Global Chamber to really accelerate our chapter development is Salih Alimam. She herself is from Syria. She's been through Arizona State University and Thunderbird School of Global Management and training on education. She was an intern before she became part of Global Chamber. Salih, I don't know whether you can say hi. Are you available to just introduce yourself briefly? Salih, are you there? Oh, okay, that's fine as well. No worries. So does anybody have any additional comments before we close the room?
Hey, Doug, are there any planned on-site meetings for a global chamber like we used to have?
We need to do that. So that'll be part of the board meeting in terms of doing that. It sounds like it might be in Aurora. First.
Hey, whatever gets you through the night, why not?
Yeah, we've done, and Ricardo's been part of this historically, we've done a consular core event, and those are kind of cool to bring the community together. And so that might be in the cards as well. Usually that's been in like September, October timeframe.
Sure. Well, I want to thank you, Doug, for spearheading this entire organization. I don't know what it takes for you to keep this whole international thing running. It's amazing to me. So thank you very much for what you're contributing, the difference you're making.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate your involvement on a lot of different levels, including we do a series, actually 2 different series on leadership. One is just for executives, how to be a better leader, and another one is more on health and wellness. And so every month we do programs on each one of those topics. And Barry, you've been part of that and even a speaker. And I think you actually, I don't know. Oh, we talked about a couple different programs coming up for you. That's right.
Yeah, so we're going to have that chat. That's great.
So anybody else have anything? Ricardo in particular and Sarah, thank you both for just some really great comments today. And I look forward to working with both of you and all of you on our next steps. I love the IVLP, DCFR, and Global Chamber collaboration because that's one we know very well, and we know how it can work very positively to raise the water level. And I'll follow up with all of you on that. And Casey, Casey's still here, so we'll follow up with you on both on the DCFR side of it, and also Rob Lance, who is another one of the Global Chamber Denver members who've been involved maybe from the beginning. In the case of Rob, when he was with another firm, and now he's got his own law firm. Thank you all for participating.
Thank you, Doug.
Today.
Yeah, thanks, Doug.
The July board meeting, I'll circle back with those of you that are on the board, and thank you for taking the time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody. Bye.
Thank you.